Good morning, and thank you for joining us for session 2 of day 1 of Longmont Startup Week 2021. I am really excited to introduce our next speaker because she was teed up quite appropriately by the CEO of Ziggy's during our morning session as we talked about making big impacts with small budgets. It wasn't planned, it wasn't rehearsed, it was just a natural evolution, and it's a perfect segue to talk with Maggie Scivicque, the VP of Marketing at ARC Thrift Stores. So she is going to share her stories from the trenches of how she crafted marketing campaigns throughout her career and had limited budgets to do so, but all along the way made huge impacts. It's all about thinking differently, thinking creatively, and being willing to take risks and staying true to who you are. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Maggie. She joined ARC Thrift Stores as the marketing director in 2012 from Papa John's Pizza of Colorado and Minnesota. As the vice president of marketing for ARC Thrift Stores, she is responsible for the marketing efforts that help drive the success of this nonprofit. She and her team manage the social media, coordinate the television buys, and conceive and deploy the creative that supports 31 ARC Thrift Stores and 15 donation stations across the Front Range and the western slope of Colorado. She is a strategic thinker, devoted to driving customer traffic to all stores and to increasing the transactions and sales that financially support this noble mission of ARC Thrift Stores. Maggie is also co-host of Get Thrifty, a fun and informative podcast that was named in the top 20 of the thrift podcasts in the U.S. She is dedicated to the ARC mission, brings infectious energy and enthusiasm to the work she does, and is a pretty cool lady. And we are very excited to have her here today. Maggie?
Thanks, Dave. You just made my day with that introduction. I wasn't expecting that. I'm so excited and enthusiastic about this topic. And when Avocet reached out and said, let's talk about big impact with a small budget, I thought, yes, that's my wheelhouse. I have a rich history of having no money and trying to support a business. So I'm excited to kind of share my story with you and talk about impact on a whole different level. I did want to start with this quote. I firmly believe that your biggest marketing asset is your ability to get excited about your product. If you can share that love with your customers, they'll be back. I'm a huge proponent of this. I will talk about ARC Thrift Stores anywhere and everywhere. I truly believe that that is one of the most important things you can do, is care enough about your brand to share it with the world, right? Share your love, that's contagious, just like Dave mentioned, and it just goes from there and spreads out and blooms. So let's get started. As Dave said, I'm Maggie Scivicque, the VP of Marketing for ARC Thrift Stores, and I'm gonna share my screen with you guys so you can see my presentation. Here we go. Give me the heads up that you can see it. Dave, all good?
All good.
Excellent. Okay, so this is our first slide. Big impact, small budget. Let's go to the next one here. If we can, maybe not. I might be stuck. Let's try it again. Share my screen. Well, I can't change. You can see it, Dave?
I can see it.
I can't seem to change slides.
Does the clicker work?
No. Technical difficulty. One sec here. Let's see if we can get a hand. Can you give me a hand? Okay, we did share screen. Click on the PowerPoint. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, small technical error. So what is big impact? Let's start with kind of defining it and talking about what it means to everyone, right? If it means sales to your business, that's great. And brand impact, we're all searching for it. That's another impact that may be important to you. For ARC Thrift Stores, it's about making a difference in Colorado. It's about making ARC Thrift Stores a household name, and then it's about sales. So I'm so lucky that every day I get to wake up and I feel like I'm having this positive impact on the community. Making a big difference in people's lives is what I consider impact. So I really encourage you to ask that question to yourself and your team. What does impact mean to my company? What is the most important thing? And with this whole new, cause marketing thing, even with ARC during COVID, we've really made this change where we've started focusing on relief efforts in Colorado. That's our important impact. Yes, of course, we're excited about the sales. People are coming back in droves, but I think people are shopping with a different purpose in mind these days. They truly care in a different way than I think they did pre-COVID, which is exciting. And I encourage all of you to take advantage of that. And I'm going to give you a couple ways you can do it. Wrong way here. So again, let's go back to getting excited. We have this great medium of Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's so amazing that I'm thinking about 20 years ago when we didn't have these, and I had to spend this giant budget on media and press releases and news articles and penny savers and Advo ads. Remember those back in the day? We don't have to do that anymore. We have this vast social media network, and it works. And I would say it's the cheapest way to get things moving in the right direction. As long as you're telling a compelling story with authenticity and you're truly sharing your brand, again, with that excitement, it's contagious. It will stick. People will remember. They'll come back. They'll join you. They'll follow you across all platforms. We're seeing an interesting trend right now. Facebook, we feel like we've got it mastered, right? We're moving into Instagram. We're on our way to having it mastered, fingers crossed. And then we've just started TikTok. Who knew? I mean, come on. Who knew that this was going to be a thing, right? But it's so important. And for us, we're finding this new generation of young people who love thrift shopping on a whole new level than their parents did. So we're trying to take advantage of that, and TikTok has really been essential in allowing us to do this. And again, cheapest way to get your name out there, and I'm going to give you some examples of that as we go here. But before we go into that, I want to talk about ARC Thrift Stores. I'm going to give you my plug because that's what we do here, right? We share our businesses. So ARC Thrift Stores, for those of you who didn't know, is a Colorado-based social enterprise dedicated to providing a thrift store experience like no other. So we're the fundraising arm of the 15 ARC chapters across Colorado. We provide advocacy and support to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So when you shop or donate to our stores, the proceeds go to those 15 ARC chapters so they can provide the services that people, families, and individuals with IDD need so desperately. So we're very happy about that. It makes it easier to shop and donate when you've got a reason to do so, right? Makes you feel good. So I want to talk about our ambassadors. This is our CEO, Lloyd Lewis. Some of you may know him. He's on TV a lot. And this is Heather Pyle. She's one of our ambassadors. She works at the Westminster store. The only thing missing from this picture is her favorite hand puppet that she's usually carrying around. She's a greeter at our Westminster store. If you ever go in, go say hi to Heather. When we opened after COVID and she finally got her second vaccine and came back to work, she had a line out the door of regulars who wanted to hug her and say, "Welcome back, Heather." So that just, clutched my pearls, blew my mind. I mean, stories like that come out every single day about our ambassadors. So since 2015, ARC Thrift Stores has employed over 300 people with IDD and other disabilities. We're talking autism, CP, neurological disorders, even some traumatic brain injuries that have happened to people later in life. It's really powerful to think about the lives that we're changing in that way. When I first started here, I got a call from a parent who told me her son had been aged out of high school and was refusing to get out of bed. He was desperately depressed, didn't feel like he had a purpose. And then he started working at ARC on Alameda. Ryan Malley, I'll never forget this. He still works with us. It chokes me up just to think about it. And he goes to work every single day with a purpose. It's changed his life. He now has a social group, probably a girlfriend out there. You never know. It's a big party at ARC Thrift Stores. But we all go to the movies. We do karaoke. We do ARC University. It's changed his whole world. Plus, he brings home a paycheck, which is amazing. People with disabilities have great value, and I do want to continue to share that with you. This is a great picture of Bobby. He works at our Arvada store. And hiring people with disabilities, I didn't realize this. If you had asked me when I was with Papa John's 20 years ago, do you think you could hire someone with intellectual and developmental disabilities? I would have been like, wow, what if they got hurt? What if something happened? I don't know if we'd be able to coach them. That's all out the window. I have learned so much with ARC about the value of people with disabilities to your organization. So I kind of want to highlight that here. First of all, we've found that it improves morale in the workplace. It is really tough to have a bad day when you're working next to someone with Down syndrome who thinks that they have the best job ever. It's impossible. And let's talk about productivity. It's also really hard. Someone with autism who is kicking butt at those numbers and doing the production numbers, it's hard not to work harder, right? So that's been incredible. Now, some nonprofits make the mistake of paying under wages. ARC Thrift Stores, I want to make it very clear, we take it very seriously. Every single person with IDD that is hired by ARC Thrift Stores is paid at or above minimum wage. Most of the time above because they've been there for so long. The most dedicated employees you could ever want. So much fun, always a smile. This is one of my favorites down here at the bottom, Emily Waldo. She's at our Green Mountain store. If you're in Lakewood, go by and say hi to Emily. She typically has her AirPods in and she's listening to One Direction, which cracks me up because she can sing every single song. But let me tell you, she's never late. She never complains. She never asks to go home early. She's a great employee. So I did want to throw that out there. For me, changing those lives, it speaks to your brand's character. It can be really, really powerful. And it impacts you as a CEO, as a marketing person, as a frontline worker. These things are really great for morale. And I encourage you to look into it and allow me to be a resource. If anyone has any questions about hiring people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, give me a shout. I'll share all my info with you. I love to tell you how to do it. Shoot, I can hook you up with somebody. So it's really a fun thing to do. So that was my past life, ARC Thrift Stores. Let's go, or my present life. This is my past life. I'm really excited to share with you the stories of Papa John's. So I am from California originally, don't hold it against me. The San Diego franchise opened their first store west of the Rockies in 1999. I started with them in my early 20s, and this was prior to the social media phenomenon. It hadn't really taken hold yet, right? So we were opening our first downtown location in San Diego. No money. We had a few stores at that time. I think we were close to 15 by the time we opened downtown. But downtown San Diego is a unique place. It's just has a really eclectic lifestyle, and we really had to make an impact. And how do you do that today or back then without a hashtag? I don't even know, right? But I have this great story. I want to share it with you because I think this particular campaign could have been even bigger if we did have a hashtag. So what we did was we printed about 500 Who's Your Papa bumper stickers, and I'll show you these when we. Can they see me on camera? Oh, okay. So this is one of them. I found it actually with the address, or not this one, yes. But the address, we also did these. I love pizza with the logo and put the addresses at the bottom. So cute, right? And I saw this roaming band of skaters, skater guys, right? And I'm like, oh, they go everywhere in this city, right? They're young, they're fun, they know the ins and outs, they know all those funny underbelly parts of the city that I would never have access to, and they know them. So I took 20 pizzas and a stack of those bumper stickers, and I said, here's some pizza, here's the bumper stickers. I'm gonna leave. When I come back tomorrow, I wanna see these stickers everywhere. Don't put them on a car, don't do anything too crazy, but on the back of stop signs, under bridges, wherever you want. I came back the next day, and they were certainly everywhere. It got the city talking. Surprised we didn't make the news. It did cost me about $500 in citations from the authorities in the city. Worth every penny. Worth every penny. And I'm still telling the story 20 years later, and I'm really proud of it. I feel like today with a hashtag, that could be really amazing. So go ahead, use the idea. I encourage you, if you're starting a new business, make a cool bumper sticker that means something with a fun hashtag. Share it all over social media. Do something out of the box that feels uncomfortable, and I promise the rewards are worth it. I do suggest you use really clean adhesive, though. Don't buy the cheap stickers. Pay a little more for the stickers that are easy to remove, because you could be out there on your weekend with a scraper getting those off of the back of signs. But again, big impact, small budget. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Everyone in the room right now is looking at me like, oh my gosh, Maggie's way too jazzed about Dave's Hot Chicken. So a friend of mine, actually who I knew from Papa John's, is opening a Dave's Hot Chicken franchise. If anybody's interested after this, there is one in Denver on Broadway, east of I-25. It's epic. It really is great chicken, and I'm not a huge chicken person. I really didn't know that I needed a dry rub chicken tender in my life, but apparently I do, because now I can't stop thinking about it. But I want to talk about Dave's Hot Chicken because it started in Los Angeles in 2018 in a parking lot. They've done 0 TV ads, no TV assets whatsoever. I don't even think they have video assets, to be honest. This franchisee that I spoke to said they take their pictures in their parking lot. And I'm going to pull up their Instagram page so you can see it, because it's fascinating what they've done with the Instagram filters. Today they've got 20 stores as of today. I think another one's opening this weekend somewhere in Illinois. But they're slowly opening around the country. And the franchisees are going nuts for this. Regular franchisees are so used to having to dump a bunch of money into marketing. And with this, they don't have to. They're taking advantage of that Instagram asset and really honing in on this unique and fun and simple, no frills menu. It's all about the chicken. So the stores right now, this is mind blowing. They're averaging $5 million per year. Your average Papa John's is lucky to do half that. This is pretty epic numbers. Again, big impact, small budget. And I'm going to go here, before we go to that, I'm going to show you Dave's Hot Chicken. Can I share this screen? Let's try it. I'm going to stop sharing this one. Share screen. Thank you for your patience with me. Dave's Hot Chicken Instagram page. Look at this page. I mean, this is first of all, they've used the filters to curate this page. And if you scroll down, every picture, this is the hand of a customer holding the product. It's pretty amazing. And they're using these filters, obviously some deep red tones in these Instagram filters. I gotta say, I called my team at Avocet Communications when I saw this and said, gosh, should we have curated our Instagram page to be, more color similar? So I got to tell you, it gave me pause. This is what they're doing to get the word out. It's all about their product. It's these close-ups with the reds and this filter. I had to share it with you because literally every single picture, they have a couple news articles, but these are news articles that they didn't solicit. The news came to them. Also, amazing concept. So I'm very jazzed about Dave's Hot Chicken. Thank you for indulging me with that. I wanted to share. If anyone's interested, though, again, east of I-25 on 6th, Dave's Hot Chicken. Amazing. Super, super delicious. All right, let me go back to sharing my screen here. All right. Okay, so the other brand I wanted to talk about is Airbnb. First of all, they're a brand that took a big hit during COVID, right? Because no one was traveling. But they're on this new surge again where people are traveling. I was trying to book something for a trip with my family over fall break. It's impossible, FYI. $4,000 for 3 people to travel to Orlando, and Airbnb just as high. So travel is definitely back, right? At least for the moment. But Airbnb is this cool company. They started in San Francisco in 2007, and it all started because, first of all, it's impossible to find a place to stay in SF, and they do all these giant conferences. So people were finding that they could make money renting out a room in their apartment, right? Just one room, a tiny space. And that's kind of how Airbnb was born and then grew from there. Before I talk about their Obama O's, which is an interesting campaign, the other thing I want to talk about is this concept of micro-entrepreneurship. And I think this plays into any business nowadays. What they did back then in '07 was they said, create a personality for yourself, your place, and really sell it that way so people get to know your personality. And think about it. Now, everyone's been stayed at an Airbnb or a VRBO. And what do? They roll out the red carpet. They leave you a special coffee from their town, Danish, they leave you a map of the area, coupons for your local restaurant. They've created this concept of micro-entrepreneurship, which I think literally translates to every brand. If you look at your small business as a small microcosm and you create not only your brand for your company, but your own personal brand, those things work together and are very important. If your authenticity online is strong, your integrity is strong, your personal brand is strong, that can get you really far. And I think that Airbnb is a great example of this. Back to these Obama O's, I thought this was great. I was looking into Airbnb because, again, I find the business model just very interesting. They did this marketing campaign, again, big impact, small budget. They created cereal boxes during the election, and they were called Obama O's. Okay? And they left Obama O's for every guest at Airbnbs across the state, mostly in California. Well, the slogan was breakfast of change, hope in every bowl, right? These things that really caught on. The slogans became so popular, the Obama O's were so sought after, they became collector's items, and it turned into a revenue stream. You can go online and get a box of those for about $350 today. They're collector's items, this small budget that they used to create this thing that became now, I had to go online and look on eBay and see if I could find a box. It's pretty cool. So I love this concept of micro-entrepreneurship and then, small budget to do something that can be really powerful like those Obama O's. This is my favorite slide. Not so shameless plugs. I want to normalize plugs. I don't want us to be ashamed of talking about our business. Oh, shameless plug. I want to eliminate that from our vocabulary and just be proud of the fact that we're running small businesses that are having big impacts in our communities. We should be proud of that. We should be screaming it from the rooftop. So without further ado, please visit me on social media at ARC Thrift Stores on all platforms. And then definitely, like Dave said, come check out the Get Thrifty podcast. This is such a fun podcast. We talk about all things thrift store, how to shop thrift stores, how to find the best vintage things, how to make DIY items from nothing, and especially my favorite topic of all, vintage queen herself, Dolly Parton, makes a debut at every single podcast episode. So definitely do that. I think we should normalize it, and it shouldn't be something we're ashamed of. We should be happy about it. I do have 2 challenges for you today as well. Do something uncomfortable today to promote your business. Give something away that you normally wouldn't. Maybe it's higher than you typically would. Talk to a random person in line at the grocery store. We can do that now. It's so cool, the chat in the grocery store. I didn't know I missed that until I took my mask off and stood in line at King Soopers and was like, do you shop at ARC? Those kinds of things were lost, and maybe they're back. Let's cross our fingers we can hold on to them. And, put a bumper sticker in a public park. Why the heck not? Be willing to pay the citation, but definitely worth it. And again, I want to stress the importance of hiring people with IDD. It can be hugely impactful. You're changing someone's life. You're changing your brand identity by hiring someone with IDD. And I truly believe it makes me happier to go to work. I get a call every day from Marlene, who's one of our ambassadors. She works in North Glen now, and she calls me every day just to say hey. And let me tell you, sometimes she calls me when I'm having a rough day, and I think, what do I have to complain about, right? It's really not that bad. So thanks so much for listening today. Let's go to our next challenge. I want to reiterate, though, here's my personal email address. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to answer any questions you might have or connect about a podcast. If you love thrifting and you want to be on the podcast, please reach out. If you love thrifting and you want some vouchers, please reach out. And again, get excited about your business because I truly believe that enthusiasm carries on. And this is how we'll end. Please join our Hey Girl Hey challenge. Hey. So my son is like addicted to TikTok. Probably shouldn't be. He's only 12. And I think he got Hey Girl Hey from that. One morning I woke up, he's eating cereal, and I go, hey Reed, hey girl, hey. And I just laughed my butt off. I mean, it was pretty hilarious. Must be something TikTok related, but I thought it was super cute for this. We want to encourage you to visit other presentations throughout this week, and we're going to kind of pass it on. We're calling it the Hey Girl, Hey Challenge. Boys and gals are all welcome to join, and all you need to do is log on tomorrow to Curating the Right Sales Team. Lori Raymond is hosting that, and she's going to be talking about, really building up a strong sales team in this really strange environment that we're in. And all you need to do is type in the chat box, "Hey girl, hey," and leave us your email address, and you're automatically going to win $20 gift card to ARC Thrift Stores. I'm very excited about that, so please just log on tomorrow, "Hey girl, hey," in the chat box with Lori, and I have it on good authority that she's willing to double down, and if you do this tomorrow, she may be offering a $50 gift card to Specialty Appliance. So totally worth it. We're going to have a series of gift cards throughout the week. Every day you log in and you just say, "Hey girl, hey," for a chance to win some gift cards for fun. So exciting. Thanks for listening. Any questions?
We do have a few questions. So
I'll stop sharing my thing. Is that okay?
somebody gave you a "Hey Girl, Hey" already. That's perfect.
Yay!
That is awesome. So Philip has a question about the process that led up to these campaigns. And I think it's alluding to how to be smarter with your time and your resources to make a big impact. So you talked a little bit about the pizza and the stickers, and the idea was, hey, let's use a little guerrilla marketing to get the word out as quick as we can with a group that speaks to where your audience is. Mm-hmm. Are there any other periods within your life at Papa John's and now at ARC that have led up to, hey, I think this idea could turn into a campaign?
Sure. I think the most important thing, I always say that marketing is like closing your eyes and throwing darts at a dartboard. You never know what's going to work and what's going to stick, and it's ever changing. And the dartboard's like moving in a circle or all around because it's just craziness, right? So I always like to say to my team that I want us to be students of whatever's new. Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly online trying to understand TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. How do I get to know these platforms better? And I think that those fun ideas come from being a student, being open to learning, asking a lot of questions, talking to as many people as possible, and getting to know my customer, right? At Papa John's, I was so young. I was living in that demographic that ate pizza, right? So I would talk to college friends. How do you want to be told about pizza? How do you get excited about it? What makes you interested in it? Why would you pick this over this? So I think that's my answer to that, Philip, is be a student, learn, be open to the learning. We know nothing. Every day I know nothing. I'm constantly learning and evolving and changing, and I think that's what good marketing and PR looks like today, especially in today's environment.
That's a great answer. So again, Philip, being curious, not putting on a blindfold and throwing sharp things. Right? Perfect. All right.
Well said, Dave.
So another question. So Philip was in our chat. We have a Q&A section, and this question asks, what are some of the baby steps that a no-name retail brand can deploy to get started?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to it in today's environment. So important to work on your personal brand. I think that people that find and discover new brands, they want to know who owns it. They care about that on a different scale than they ever did before. The random, big brother ownership didn't bother people. Today it bothers people. Today they want to know that they are part of something that's making a difference and that means something. So I'd say a baby step would be, work on curating your personal brand, so your own social platforms, so that you as an owner have integrity and authenticity. You're telling a good story. People get to know you. They know your family. It's about being an open book in this environment. I really believe that. Being willing to share your story. I mean, I dropped my son today chatting on this, and I have to be an open book because that makes me more real. You guys know I'm a human being, and they want to know their brands are humans too. So start with your own brand and then your company brand as well. Tell a compelling story on social media. And have a cause. I think in today's environment, a cause, it means so much. Even with Papa John's, that was kind of in its infancy. We did a lot with MS where we'd do 2 pizzas for $22 and $2 would go back to MS. Yeah. Now it's the socks and Toms and all these, companies that you buy something, you are giving something to someone in need as well.
But
I
if I
think
may,
that's powerful.
you have to be authentic about the cause that you're representing.
Yeah.
Because your audience will quickly
Know if
identify
it's-
those areas
Good point.
of inauthenticity that could backfire, right?
Dave, that's a really great point. It has to be personal to you. And that comes again to telling your own personal story.
Yeah.
What means something to
So
you.
speaking of personal story and being shameless, you have a podcast. What's it called again?
Yes, the Get Thrifty
There you go.
podcast.
Awesome.
Please tune in everywhere you find your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review as well about how amazing, funny, and smart we are, and we'll love you forever. Like us, subscribe. We're coming back in October, but we have a lot of past episodes up right now. We took a little break during COVID. But again, we end every episode with Dolly Parton, who is, an American icon. Who doesn't love Dolly Parton?
There's nobody that doesn't love Dolly.
That's true.
We have a lot of questions, and we've got time for them, so
Great.
let's drive on.
Okay.
This question asked about influencers and how important are influencers to the ARC thrift story?
100%. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I think that we need an entire episode on a seminar on influencers and the importance of influencers. Even we use a lot of micro influencers. The thrift industry is such a fascinating one. I jokingly say we make millions off of selling used t-shirts. It's true. I mean, it really is a fascinating business. But so many people, these micro influencers that maybe have less than 500 followers on Instagram, but their followers follow them religiously. And maybe they buy from us and they sell on Poshmark or Depop, all of these, new and trendy ways to resell clothing online. And they are very valuable. We are 100% counting on them to build our TikTok audience. Please visit us on TikTok if you're on. The influencers today, I would say, are the biggest asset a business can have. If people are talking about your brand in the right way, wow, the power of that word of mouth marketing. And I think that's what I'd like to show, and I didn't mention it, in the Hey Girl, Hey Challenge. At the end of this, let's do a count up of how many people participated in this, because I do still believe that referral marketing, word of mouth marketing is still so powerful. We use a lot of influencers that are bigger ones too, that have 10,000 plus followers, and they're amazing as well. They'll do thrift hauls. The biggest advice I can give you about influencers is create a guideline for them. Be very specific about what you want and how you want them to portray your brand. For us, we give them very specific guidelines. So for instance, this summer we did a $20 challenge, and we wanted our influencers to go in and build an outfit for the summer under 20 bucks. Now, we gave them free reign to do whatever they wanted. Did they do it in pictures? Did they do it in video? However they wanted to do it. So that they have the creativity. And you know how we paid them is in ARC vouchers. They were thrilled. I do believe that, again, big impact, small budget. Gosh, I can pay them in ARC vouchers and they can go shop in the store. They're thrilled. I'm thrilled with their content, and their followers will hopefully come into the store and shop. So influencers are the wave of the future, 100%. And again, don't be scared of those micro influencers. We use a lot of them. I think that they are powerful in their own right, and if we stick with them as they grow, again, it speaks to our integrity, speaks to our authenticity, and let me tell you, those people are loyal. We've got a children's sale coming up, plug, not a shameless one, plug. Our 99-cent children's sale is coming up August 13th. It's for back to school. We have a ton of influencers on that campaign that will go out and shop for their kids and show everything you can buy for 99 cents to go back to school, 99 cents a piece. I mean, what's a better deal, right? Your kids wear clothes 2-3 times tops, they outgrow them, they come to ARC. Trust me, they're in my stores. Come and get them. It's pretty exciting stuff. But influencers, big thumbs up. Next year at Longmont Startup Week, we need to do an entire segment on it. I really think it warrants a discussion. And Avocet Communications is doing it right. Their team is really dedicated to learning it. Again, even my marketing team of experts, every day we call each other and we're learning from influencers, trying to understand what would be the best way to do this. What would be something. I also think it's important, listen to your influencers. They know. They have their ear to the ground. They have a vibe for what's really happening and what their followers want to hear and read about, which is pretty cool and helpful.
I love that answer, and I'm glad you brought up back to school. It's a milestone every year just like a bunch of holidays that happen. And a lot of people rally around holidays and celebrating with friends and it being personable and it being part of where they came from. I know for me, Halloween has always been, what can we do this year that's so unique and different? And it's part of, we have huge Halloween parties, and a lot of our recommendations are build your costumes at art. Tell me about additional holidays, because this question is, how do you rally around holidays and make your brand even more pronounced?
So for us, our big holidays, our Super Bowl, I call it our Super Bowl, is Halloween, for sure. That's also our customer acquisition month. We get the largest number of first-time shoppers in during a Halloween time period, definitely around our college campuses. And that's when they go, oh, I can get this great costume, and oh my gosh, that couch over there is pretty nice for my small apartment. It's kind of the entry point for many people. But we also care about Christmas time is huge for us. Ugly Christmas sweaters. I thought that trend was dead. It is not. It's still back. Now they're doing Christmas in July. We got a request last week to bring the Christmas sweaters out because they were doing a Christmas in July party up at CSU, and I needed to get with the program. But I was glad to have the feedback. Again, I'm always learning. Tell me what you want from a thrift store. Who knew a thrift store could be so impactful and, play a part in every phase of life, right? Now, one of our biggest demos is people over 65. First of all, we have the best senior day sale. It's 55 and older at ARC. You can get 50% off every single Tuesday. It is one of our busiest days next to Saturday, and so we definitely rally around our seniors. So now we've got these young kids, high schoolers that don't want to wear everything that their friends are wearing from fast fashion, so they want to shop thrift. College, they're doing it again because they're on a budget. Kids' clothes when they're moms, and then again when they're seniors. So we're trying to capture all of those demos, and I think rallying around holidays is part of that. The nostalgia of a holiday, just like you said, it means something. It's special to people, and if thrift shopping is part of that, that's all the better for me.
So this next question, thank you for that, by the way. This next question is centered around being curious. And you say you and your team are constantly looking for new ideas and being insightful, testing the market. But there's always that opportunity that arises to convince others within your team, some who are perhaps a little stoic or set in their ways. How does Maggie convince or influence the internal team stakeholders that this is a great idea and we should do it? And tell us what that biggest, most recent success was there.
Oh gosh, I love that question. First of all, thank you. That's amazing. I don't have a lot of trouble with that because just from hearing me talk today, you can obviously see I can be a little convincing. But I think that it's about believing in something and trying things. Even the most conservative person can come around with a little bit of data, right? So if we're able to kind of show this works, I think that is probably the best way to go about things. Start with baby steps, show and measure that it works. I think that's powerful. I'd say the most recent thing I can think of is my CEO is an older gentleman. He's in his late 60s at this point, amazing guy, but social media wasn't really his forte when I started here at ARC Thrift Stores. I think we had under 3,000 followers on Facebook, I believe, and I made it a goal in my head. Year one, I wanted to get to 5, and we had these bigger goals. Now we're at like 50,000 or something, but I really pushed him in that direction. But again, it was about showing him my enthusiasm for it. It was contagious for him, and I think he really came around. And let me tell you, I have to call him and say, do not post that on Facebook because I'm about to put it on ARC. I need you to share it. That's a good thing, right? You train someone to understand the power of that. And now his brand identity is so powerful to me. All of his followers, I'll call him and say, I'm about to share something. Go and share it. But don't share it before me because then you're stealing my juice, So it's about training and working with people who may not be as enthusiastic and show them what's possible.
I love it. So you said baby steps, and one of these next questions talks about baby steps. If there is an early stage company, because this is about entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, it's about investors who are looking at new opportunities to help fund or align. It's about, our earlier guest, Brandon, a young 20-something who decided, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. And there's the few first things that need to take place to get, you off the couch, out the door, inspired enough to take a chance and go all in. So for you, you've been an entrepreneur in different places and spaces in part of your corporate career for many years. And as you've done that, you've taken baby steps yourself, whether it was the Papa John story and campaigns, coming to ARC and kind of retooling the appearance of the brand and the persona in the community. If there are 15 young leaders of tomorrow watching today, and their question is like, what are the first things I should do just to get my brand known? Whether maybe it's a food truck, maybe it's a retail outlet, maybe it's a sandwich shop down on Main Street. What are the baby steps that you would say, knowing what you do and now leading, this incredibly successful corporation forward, that they should do out of the gate? No questions asked. First thing you want to do is boom. What is it?
Gosh, I'm going to say it's give stuff away. Share your product. If you love something and you're out there pushing it, you've got to be willing to give it away. That to me is the best investment you can make, is come with me, share this special food or experience with me so I can show you how amazing it is. And I think that enthusiasm for your brand, your willingness to give it away and share whatever it is, even if you're providing a service, give it away. Share it with people. Let people get to know you, and then they're like, I know that person. I know them. I'm proud to tell others that I know that person. And now I'm going to go online. I'm going to follow their personal account. I feel special because I'm following the CEO of this new little company. Oh, and I follow their brand as well. I think that's important. Give it away. Share it with somebody, with them, in the same room with them, not from your couch.
I love that. That's very authentic. It makes a ton of sense. Because if people see that you yourself are willing to go the extra mile and commit, then they'll do so for you. So I love that. So you've talked a lot about great successes, and everybody loves to hear about successes, but people also like to hear how you screwed up. Right?
Sure.
So is there a time
in
your tenure, either as VP of marketing, where you're leading, just hordes of individuals who are relying on decisions that you make, or early on in your career where you're giving away pizza and stickers and you say, go out and do this, which lends itself to you being issued a citation, which is an awesome story. But are there things that you've done that you would never do again? But it was a great lesson for moving forward?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There were some hard lessons, especially when I was younger and didn't know. I thought I wanted to be a caterer. I never thought that I would be in marketing. I thought I was going to have a catering business in San Diego. I took my surfboards out of my truck and put a bunch of chafing dishes, and I was doing catering all over the state, and found Papa John's on a lark because they were hiring an event planner. But I learned some hard lessons. I'm thinking back to lighting a tablecloth on fire as a young person and going, what the heck? Again, lesson learned. And then more recently with Papa John's, and they're still making fun of me for this. Was it Super Bowl came here? Who remembers that? It was 5-6 years ago, we had a Super Bowl. It must have been Peyton Manning's Super Bowl. And I thought, we need to sell shirts at the stores, right? And we couldn't brand them, obviously, because you can't use any kind of Super Bowl branding whatsoever, right? But I was like, these are going to go gangbusters. And we made orange shirts with blue writing, and I think it just said, go team, or something ridiculous, now looking back on it. I bought like 5,000 of these. I was like, these are going to sell. Trust me. I'll go sell them myself. Stand in the store and sell them myself. It'll be fine. We still have those shirts. You can find them at any ARC thrift stores 10 years later. We tried $9.99. We tried $5.99. We tried 99 cents during Broncos season and still have some of those things floating around. Or my favorite is someone will take a picture at one of the stores and send it to me and go, it just got donated.
Again.
The circle of life, but lesson learned. And they still joke with me about it. And it was a big expense. But, if you don't take those risks, gosh, you just never know. Some of the biggest risks, here's a great story. So I actually hold a world record for the world's largest pizza delivery in San Diego. We delivered 40,000 pizzas to the NASCO shipyard. in a 30-minute window. And I thought, how the heck are we going to do 30 minutes? That's all we had. That's all they had for lunch. They were docking a new aircraft carrier, and they needed to feed their staff. Epic opportunity, right? Call the news, it was all over the news. It was great. It was fantastic. But let me tell you, hardest logistics lessons I've ever learned. We ended up renting, 10 giant U-Haul vans and lining them up outside the shipyard. And then they let us in, and we had a half an hour to pass out 40,000 pizzas. It was gnarly, but it was such a great lesson. And we were so proud of that accomplishment. It was pretty awesome. But, everyone on that team was like, Maggie, you're crazy. We can't do it. We did it.
And it still stands today?
Yes.
That's
no one's
impressive.
broken it so far.
That is impressive.
It's in the 2010 book if you want to see it.
I will find it. So we have answered all of our questions.
Oh, great.
And appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
This presentation was particularly exciting for me because my family has been part of the ARC community for many, many years, as well as our children and a lot of the organizations that our children support. So we're just pleased that you're part of the Longmont Startup Week today and a part of this community as well.
Thank you so much.
Especially since you brought hot chicken, first responders, and a bunch of other cool stories to the table. And we think it's great. Here's my takeaways. Work smarter, not harder. Social platforms bring the heat. How to meet our audience where they are and get really excited about your product. I think that's really appropriate for any business owner, entrepreneur, or individual who's looking to make a big impact in the space and place that they operate. You can do it without a big budget. And if you want to learn more, you can reach out to Maggie. Shameless plug. Tons of opportunities to engage with her personally and professionally, and you'll be able to revisit this presentation in the archives after Longmont Startup Week. So, Maggie, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
You bet. So we are going to move into our next presentation before lunch at the top of the hour. You're not going to want to miss it. Lori Jones and Jimmy Veretta are going to talk about bold and brave marketing strategies, two veteran professionals in each of their areas of expertise, and I think you'll get a lot to enjoy out of that. I'm going to give a shameless plug to all the sponsors who help make this possible. First and foremost, starting at the A's, and not just because she's standing to my right, our Thrift Stores. We're super appreciative of all you do for us and the communities you serve throughout Colorado. Avocet Communications, Ward Electric Company, Longmont Economic Development Partnership, BizWest, Left Hand Brewery, Dockedly, Downtown Longmont, High Plains Bank, Handprint Inc., Circle Graphics, Sticker Giant, and Chop 5. Tonight, we have our kickoff event at Whibby Brewery. We've got amazing artists that start at 4 o'clock. Great drinks, great food, great time with people that you care about. Join us down at Whibby at 4 o'clock. Festivities go to about 7:30. Great craft brews go way beyond that. So if you have an opportunity, please join us. Thanks again. We'll see you at the top of the hour, and we're really appreciative of you being part of Longmont Startup Week 2021.